Good afternoon, Blythewood. Appreciate each and every one of you for coming out this afternoon for this very important community conversation. I am overly joyed to see seats filled in this room this afternoon. We won't talk about the first one. We're going to talk about the second one, okay? But this shows the importance of this community to each and every one of you. I am honored to serve you as your current mayor. I'm Mayor Sloan Griffin. For those of you that I haven't met, we have met now. It is a pleasure and an honor to be before you this afternoon. Before we get started, I do want to recognize my members of council. I see two, and if I miss some, please don't charge it to my heart here, but I see Councilwoman Andrea Fripp. Please raise your hand, ma'am. Back in the red. And I see Councilman Richmond Kendrick, who is helping put out seats right now. Sorry, you're so quiet, ma'am. I see Councilwoman Erica Page. Please stand up so folks can see you. And I'm looking for my pro tem, but I don't see him at this time. The reason I'm pointing out these council members is because we serve you in this town of Blythewood, okay? And reach out to any one of us, myself, the ones you see here present this afternoon, and my pro tem. Call us, email us, text us. Let us know your concerns. This is not a one-person show in this community. This is all of us here together that's here willingly and wanting to work on these issues that we're going to talk about this evening. I also have the honor and the privilege, and I'm going to give her the microphone real quick before we get started, Richland County Councilwoman Gretchen Barron. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us this afternoon.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gretchen Barron. I serve Richland County Council District 7, and we do serve a nice portion of the town of Blythewood. And I felt that it was important for me to join this community, my community that I live in, for a number of reasons. Number one, that I think that we can get more done when we work in a collaborative spirit. And I like to always remind people that Richland County has 7 municipalities inside of it. The town of Blythewood is one of them. And although many may have their own ideas about what they think should take place in Blythewood and other areas, I want to be here tonight as to be a part of the solution, and so that we can work collaboratively. And then lastly, my number one reason, and probably my number one reason, is I have 2 boys. My college student is home from school, and I have a 13-year-old, and he wants to know, Mama, why can't I go hang out? And that's real. We don't hang out at Sand Hill anymore. We don't hang out at Doco. The last time we came to Doco, we came together as a family. And so I want to know, what can we do to continue to support the town of Blythewood, to support our sheriff and our deputies, so that we have a safe place that we can work and play and just live, right? Just live, and that's why we're here today. And I hope that tonight, when it's all said and done, we're empowered with more information, but also, as being empowered with information, that we have a call to action as to what we're going to do as a community. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we get started, let's do what us good Southern folks do, and let's start this thing out right. We all need prayer in this community, right? I'm going to call up Bishop Brooks here to give us prayer before we get into the program.
Good afternoon, everybody. We'll bow our heads. Dear God, we thank you for the opportunity, God, for a community to come together in one accord, God. We ask you right now, God, whatever's done on tonight, God, let it get your glory, God. Let you be a part of it, God. But most of all, God, let clarity come through, God. Unite our hearts and our minds, God, to defend ourselves, God, against what the enemy is trying to attack us with, God. Keep everything, God, civil, God, but most of all, keep, God, order in this place, God. We thank you for our mayor, God. We thank you for our sheriff's department, God. We thank you for everyone on the city council, God, and we thank you for everything that's going to come out of this, God, to make this community not only good, but great for the near future, God. Bless everything that's done on tonight, God, for we love you, we thank you, and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Bishop. So let's get right into this, and before I jump into it, I do want to say thank you to former Mayor Bailey for being here this evening, and our chairman of the Planning Commission, Mr. Mosley. So we all seen the news, right? We've seen the news. We've seen things happen in our community that we don't like, okay? Let's just be honest. I want an honest conversation this afternoon. I'm challenging my colleagues on council. The reason we didn't set this up as a meeting, we want to hear from you all, okay? We have the sheriff's department here. They're going to come up in a little bit, and we're going to have dialogue. And we're going to talk about these things that are touching to us. We're going to talk about the Waffle House. We're going to talk about that 2 a.m. shooting. We're going to talk about movies in the park, both movies in the park. And we're going to talk a little bit about last year, 4th of July, because we had an incident there. And then we're going to talk about moving forward. We want to hear how you feel right now. But the call to action at the end of this is for you all to help us as leaders. All of us in here that you have went to the ballot box to cast your vote for. Help us come up with these solutions so that we in the town of Blythewood can keep that energy that we were used to having. Let's regain that energy. Let's regain the confidence in our neighbors, our community, our kids. Because at the end of the day, it's the kids. We all adults in here, and I see some young faces in here, and I'm proud of that because they can go back and spread this to their friends. They can be the champion to go back out in the park to let their friends know, don't come to Doko Park with that. So let's go ahead. Sheriff Lott, come on up. One thing that we have in Richland County that I am proud of, and I know you all are, we have one of the nation's best sheriffs. Y'all don't hear me. That gives me goosebumps to know that I'm standing behind the #1 sheriff in this country. We have something that North Carolina wants. Georgia wants, Florida wants. We have the man right here. And we have a community in this room that is active in wanting to find solutions. And one thing I do appreciate about our sheriff, and he said it before, and I know he'll say it again, that 11 o'clock phone call from me saying, Sheriff, we got to do something in this community. He's up. I'm standing in the park, and he said, let's get to it. We have the energy, we have the momentum from our deputies. And each one of these deputies back here, they're here because of you. They're here because they're caring about this community. They responded. A lot of the faces I seen responding out here, helping us corral the kids. #1, making sure that they went home the same way they came. That's important. And that's one thing I shared with the sheriff. I appreciate those tactics. But now we got some real work to do, don't we, Sheriff? We got some work. And I'm going to give this microphone to one of the most honest, upfront guys, and he ain't going to sugarcoat this to y'all, okay? But I really asked the sheriff to come back here and give us a chance because of the first one. Give us this chance so that the community can talk, that you could hear what the sheriff's department is doing in this community. And I'm going to give him that moment, and when the sheriff is finished explaining some of these things, giving you the updates to what's going on. And then I've got another microphone, and we're going to pass this microphone around because this is about you. And I want you to be able to ask those questions to me, my members of council, and the sheriff's department, okay?
If you were here at the last meeting that we had, please stand up. Those who were at the last meeting we had, stand up. Y'all look around. You got 3 people. 3 people. What you're doing tonight is reactive. What we tried to do on that first meeting was be proactive, okay? So, you know, as a community, we all have got to do better. We cannot wait till we have an incident for people to start caring and getting involved. You have to be proactive. That is how you prevent stuff from happening, not so much reactive. So it's great to see everybody here tonight. Disappointed that it took the shooting that happened on April 5th and stuff that happened at the park, but you're here, so let's try to work on it. As far as the shooting that happened on the 5th at 2 o'clock in the morning, we've made lots of arrests and we've got more arrests. And if you'll pay attention to the press releases, you will see these were not high school kids. You know, it was said that this was a high school prom party, but if you look at some of the people that we arrested, they're in their 20s, 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds. This was more than that. And if you'll look at most of them, didn't live up here. They came from other places. You cannot be a magnet for people to come from Winsboro, from downtown Columbia, from Lower Richland, from Columbia High School. You can't be a magnet that allows them to come up and do what they did that night with over 200 kids taking over. Not one phone call did we get prior to the gun started shooting. Nobody called. No business called. Nobody called us. Once the shooting happened, then we started getting 911 calls. Now, we're going to continue to make arrests. We're not through. We're still getting people identified. We're going to hold everybody accountable. We've identified most of the ones that we profiled on TV that were shooting the guns. But you had individuals up here who had ankle monitors on because they're out on bond for murder. You had people up here that were wanted on other charges. And when you ask them, and we have, what were you shooting at? The answer is, we were just shooting. We heard a gunshot, and we just started shooting. And I've said this at every press conference, only by the act of God, grace of God, that we ain't standing here talking about 20 and 30 kids and young people who are dead. You know, unfortunately, we had one young lady that was in a car that was driving away. She hit. You know, over 75 bullets were shot. You know, those who've been overseas and been in war, they know that's exactly what it sounded like. Okay, so that was the bad stuff. The good stuff is we've arrested most of them. We got a few more to get identified. You know, hopefully we're going to be able to hold them accountable. I don't control the bond. I don't control what happens with the charges, but I can control our investigation, and we're going to lock them up, and we're going to make charges on them and hold them accountable. And the parents who are involved and condone this, we're going to do the same thing with them. If they cross the line from being a parent to a participant anyway, then we're going to hold them accountable and charge them too. But we can't allow, the first meeting we had, I talked about pop-up parties, and they're exactly what it sounds like. Somebody puts out on social media, we're meeting at the Waffle House in Blythewood, and it goes out to thousands of people, and everybody shows up. And they don't show up just to have a good time. They all got guns on them. Go back, if you can, and look at the videos that we've shown. And when you see somebody running and they're holding on to the pants, they're holding on to a gun. You'll see them pulling guns out and didn't even shoot, but they had guns. You had so many people up here with guns that didn't have anything to do with a high school prom or high school people getting together. It was a different element that came in here that night. And that's an element that you can't have come, because what you're going to have is exactly what we had on that night, April the 5th. So businesses got to be involved. If they see that happening, they need to call immediately and not wait till the gunshots start. Anybody who's out and sees that has to call. Pop-up parties, when we find out about them, we go to them very quickly and disperse them. Who's ever went to the beach and played whack-a-mole where the things jump up and you hit? That's what they do. We hit one place, they pop up over here. But we have to get that information. And the young people see it, they get it on social media, but they need to be like Gretchen Barron did when her son got one about 3 weeks ago to go to one. She called and let us know. Her son didn't go, and we went and monitored that party and made sure it didn't get out of control. That's information that we need. We monitored as much as we can, but we need everybody in this room to monitor it too. The young people in here and young people you got at home are going to hear about it. So we've got to be involved. I'll talk a little bit about events that you have here. The reason you having problems here is because you let everybody come in. It's just wide open. And these adults drop their kids off and then go somewhere else and leave them here. You can't have unsupervised teenagers because they're gonna cause problems. So if you have events, you got to monitor who comes in and supervise them as they coming in. And if it's somebody 17 years or younger, you don't have to let them come in if they don't have a parent. You turn them away, but when you have it wide open where anybody can walk through, that's an invitation. That's an invitation for the ones who come in here to cause problems going to have. And when you have a bunch of teenagers together, you're going to have one who don't like the other one, and next thing you know, you're going to have a fight. So as people who put on events, you have to have it organized to the fact that you control who comes to them. If you allow everybody and their brother to come to it, then you're welcome. You're going to have problems. So, it's up to the town to decide what they do on events. I don't control that. We'll have as many deputies as the town can hire, plus our extra deputies. We'll have them here. But if you're not going to monitor who comes into them, you're going to continue to have the problems that you've had at least 3 times now. So my beg of y'all is we need to work a little bit more closer on these events when you have anything that's going to be open to the public. And if not, then expect to have some problems that you got right now. I'm here to answer questions. Not so much talk. It's just questions. What do y'all got? What you got? Somebody needs to get a microphone.
I got Councilman McKendrick will bring you a microphone if you raise your hand.
Yep, it'll be helpful if, before you ask a question, if you can just state your name and where you live, and we'll get to you as soon as you raise your hand.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a parent of 2 boys here in Blythewood, and we moved to Blythewood from Garner's Ferry. So my question is, you mentioned the event should be, more controlled and not invite everybody. But something I've seen in discussion on Facebook, of course, is Lexington does this and doesn't have this issue. Is there, anything you know about how they're doing things that we're messing up on?
What you mean Lexington doesn't have any issues?
They, well, maybe I'm not in the know.
Lexington has the same issues. It doesn't matter if you're Garner's Ferry, in the Lower Richland area, or Lexington, they're having the same. This is a nationwide issue. It's not just Blythewood by any means. This is a problem nationwide with young people that have got guns that are shooting. So it's not just up here. It's all over. So don't think this is just something unique to Blythewood, because it's not. Lexington's had some of the same issues. They just don't publicize it like we do. We're very transparent. When something happens, we talk about it and we put it out. You'll find other agencies are not quite like that.
Okay, and I have just one more question, because I know others have, but as a parent who was at Daco Playground a lot, there are a lot of parents who are just leaving their kids in the playground, letting us parent them. They're asking for water, they're asking for snacks, and they'll be there for hours, and their parents are in the car smoking pot, period. You can smell it, you see them, they don't care. You tell the child to go to their parent, they go, my mommy told me not to. How do we handle those issues?
How do I handle that issue?
How would you say I handle that issue? I don't necessarily want to call the cops on them, but I also am not looking for a confrontation when I have my kids and I'm trying to keep myself and my kids safe.
We do confrontations. That's
Well,
when
yeah.
That's when we get involved. When you weed, marijuana, whatever the heck you want to call it, it is illegal. Okay?
Well, I don't even care if
We're
they
not
smoke at
inviting-
home, just not at the playground.
Right. It's still illegal, so we still deal with that. But if you smell it and know what's going on and you don't say nothing, then you're part of the problem, not part of the solution.
So call me dumb, but how do I report it?
911.
It just feels not truly an emergency, but
Just-
okay. If you tell me that, you tell me that. I'm
It
good.
is emergency. It is emergency. Somebody could be dying from whatever's going on. Some kid's been left alone by themselves. Parent hires a kite and they go.
Yeah, I mean, it's
wander-
90, 100 degrees. They don't have water. It's terrible.
Okay, they don't have, that is child abuse, endangering a child. We can't fix something if we don't know about it. So that's, it's a joke. We get called if a cat's in a tree. We get called for everything, okay?
And let me add this to that. If you're in our park and you see something and you're uncomfortable, come find a member of the staff. We will make that 911 call for you, okay? That's what we're gonna do. We're not gonna go to that car, knock on the window, but we will make that call for you if you're uncomfortable. And if you need bottled water, stop by either here or the manor in those emergent situations.
But I want to go back to what she said. I don't know if these should be called parents or not who are doing stuff like that, because that's not what a real parent does, and that is what our problem is today, is that we've got a lot of adults who have kids and let kids do whatever they want to, and that's where our problem is. So that's what we've got to start doing, is making parents and these adults really be a parent and hold them responsible and accountable. That's what we're doing, and locking them up. My goal is not to see how many parents we can lock up, is get them to be parents, and we've seen a huge increase in parents and grandparents calling us asking for help now. We've got parent support groups. We got a lot of different things at Sheriff's Department. Now we're getting more and more of their calls. And I will tell you, the last 2 shootings that we've had, the moms are the ones who turned them in. One of the last ones that we arrested last week, his family drug him out of the house by his neck and turned him over to us. That was involved in the shooting. So the message is getting out. We just need to keep doing it. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Catherine Porter. I live in the Lake Ashley neighborhood. I was wondering if you could give us an update on the shooting that was in the Lake Ashley neighborhood that same night that the big shooting occurred in the parking lot.
I can't give you that, but we'll find out.
Good evening. My name is Stacy Jordan, and I live in the Blythewood Farms community. I've been here for 3 years. And first and foremost, I want to thank Sheriff Lott and his team for coming back out to Blythewood. And you started off exactly what I was going to talk about, us being proactive versus being reactive. So the issues that we're seeing in our community is universal. It's not just in Blythewood, it's all over the country. So what we need to do is focus on what can we do to protect our community. I have a 2-year-old growing up in this community, and there's nothing more that I want to do is to bring her to a park to be safe and play and not have to worry about looking over my shoulder if I see a car pull up. But one of the things that I wanted to suggest, I know the last council meeting they kind of talked a little bit about maybe setting a curfew, but I think what it all boils down to is holding the parents accountable. I've seen parents drop their children off, teenage kids, and leave and then come back. Is there any way that we as a community can establish guidelines for the age of students who are here without the attentiveness of an adult?
Yeah, y'all can set a curfew. We talked about it when the thing happened here at the park, and established the curfew that if y'all want to do it, it can be enforced. Let me ask this: how many of y'all are members of a crime watch group or homeowner association? Everybody needs to be raising your hand. All the business here need to be part of a crime watch group or something where they communicate with each other. Every neighborhood needs to have a crime watch group where it's nothing but a bunch of nosy neighbors who look out for each other. And I know a lot of y'all in this room, and y'all are very nosy, okay? But you need that organized. You have to organize. That's where you look out for each other when something happens in the community. I will tell you today, I got an email from a lady in a neighborhood not far from here who last year had a major shooting at their swimming pool. And somebody put out a flyer. There's a pool party that's scheduled that's not endorsed by that community where all these kids are going to be. That mom did not hesitate sending that to me saying, this is going to be a problem, so we're going to address that. We have to know that's being proactive. She didn't wait until that party happened that night and 200 kids showed up at the pool. She's already let us know. We're going to squash it before it ever happened. Everybody needs to look out for each other. And right now we're like individualized. We don't want to pay attention to our neighbors. We don't want to worry about this neighborhood over here because it's not my neighborhood. This is all our neighborhood. This is all y'all live up here. So everybody needs to be looking out for each other regardless of what community, what part of Blythewood you live in.
Hi, my name is Kate. I also am a community member, but I have multiple kind of questions, so I will not barrage you, but it's not just for you. I watched your press conference about the Columbia Place Mall shooting, and to say that you are tired is an understatement. I can see it in your face and I can hear it in your voice, and shame on us, and thank you for wagging your finger at those of us that just showed up today for not being proactive. But here we are, and for town council, everything that you have said is exactly what I came here to say that we need to be doing. For town council, what are we doing to impose business fines for allowing loitering after a certain hour of the day for any amount of size crowd, or coming together, like you said, to create crime watches? We can be proactive. We can start looking at the giant business that's moving to our town, looking at our schools and saying, how can we partner to have career opportunities for these youth? But there's so many things, but what baffles me is the bond. And that's not your responsibility to fix. That's not yours. It's kind of not yours, but you can get us there. But like, we can all put stopgaps in place, but who's here to take us a step further so that we're not having to constantly saying, how are we going to stop this? How are we going to stop this? So multiple
I'll
questions.
answer that. You can answer the politics part. I'm not in that. What I'd like to see come out tonight is a crime watch group in every community here. Those who don't have one, we got the lieutenant with the CAT team back here. We will help you get it organized. It belongs to you. So every neighborhood needs to have a crime watch group. We have any businesses that are in here represented? All right, somebody needs to go to every one of these businesses with us, and let's get them organized also. You're going to have another problem up here if you don't do something, and that's going to be the homeless. Soon as the buses start making their regular routes up here, they're going to bus all the homeless people from downtown Columbia's coming up here, and they're going to be. You got to start the loitering now. You can't allow them to loiter around the businesses. We have zero tolerance for that. You can't allow them to beg on the streets. I know we're all Christians and want to help people, but most of these homeless people are by choice because that's a lifestyle they want to live. And the more you feed them, the more the churches feed them and organizations feed them, the more they're going to come and they can continue. You can't allow that. It's going to get worse. So that's on the horizon. So you got to start now to make sure you don't have that. But you've got to get organized. One thing I'd like to see the town of Blythewood do, and I'm going to put y'all on the spot, National Night Out is coming the first Tuesday in August. You need to have a big old national night out right out here in this park, and every community in the Blythewood area needs to come do National Night Out here. We do that in Lower Richland. We do it over off of Two Notch Road. We have a tremendous turnout, and that's where people get to know each other, and they all come together. But it also sends a message to the bad guys is, well, they'll see how organized you are, and that will send them somewhere else, okay? But you've got to send a message. Y'all not going to allow this type of stuff to go on up here. And right now, it's been a little sleepy town of Blythewood. Everybody's laid back. It's not going to happen in my neighborhood. It's not going to happen here. And it's here. And when that big plant opens up, it's going to be a lot more going on up here. So you've got to be prepared for it. You know, how many of y'all Boy Scouts in here? Anybody a Boy Scout? Shame on it. No Boy Scouts? What's Boy Scouts' motto? Be prepared. Town of Blythewood has got to get prepared for what's coming. And you've already seen some of the bad stuff that are here already. Y'all got to get prepared better. But again, my hope tonight is crime watch groups, business association, national night out, people talking, seeing something, calling, letting us know. If you have events, not letting teenagers come and be dropped off and roam. You send them away. Call the parents and tell them to come pick them up. You're not allowing them to come into the park, or you're not coming somewhere. You can do that. Y'all can monitor that. So, long answer to your short question.
Also, to extend that, to say, and no offense, but being with someone who's 21 and up, or over 21 if you're under 18, clearly, as you said, is not the solution if these individuals are 21, 22, 23.
You handle the politics. I'm walking over here.
See, I love the sheriff's honesty. To your point there, so we recognize, and the sheriff said it, that we have been a sleepy little town, northeast corner of Richland County. Nothing happens here. We off the grid. We off the map. That is not that's not the case anymore. We understand that we, as leaders in this town, that you put in place, all of us, that we have to examine where we are and be honest where we are. And that's sometimes a hard pill to swallow, being honest. And let's be honest, I'm going to put it out. It's not like we have had the best relationship in this administration, okay? But one thing I do think that we can gel on is that we all want everyone in this community to be safe. On the next Tuesday, on the agenda for next Tuesday is the curfew ordinance. It went through some iterations with legal. Y'all know how the legal system is, and trying to make sure that we're not violating constitutional rights. In that, I did implement something that I think this town would be proud of, and I know council is the point of holding the parents accountable. That came from the sheriff. That's hearing his mission so that we can walk the same line. If they're gonna hold parents accountable in our ordinances, we need to do the same, okay? Second part of that is that there's protections in that curfew ordinance for businesses that will say that I think there was a window or something shot out at the Exxon gas station. If that's your child or you're involved in it, you're paying for it, okay? And those things are coming back from our ordinance that we will push through civil, in the civil court system. But to the other point, the 4 young ladies that were arrested out here. Yes, well, they were arrested, released, charged. They were released to their parents. Trespassing, we've been trying to do the trespassing thing. We're running into some legal issues with the trespassing. Community service was sending a letter to the solicitor for 1,000 hours community service and restitution for counseling the movie. So we got to wait on the court system to see how that plays out in the court. We're not laxed on any issue of crime up here. We're going to push that button. We're going to keep pushing it. We all live here. I live here. I have a 5-year-old here. He plays in this park all the time. I want my 5-year-old and your kids to be safe, and everybody else in this room and who's not here. But then also too, in that May 27th meeting, we have gates. So we've been having issues with our gates. That's in there to get fixed. These deputies know that when our gates are not working, and I'm gonna say this, there's a few people in this room, I come back in this park every night at 9 o'clock and close these gates. Every night. I hadn't skipped a beat in months. I've seen kids in this park hanging out, get the deputies, they just come through with the lights and they run them out. And we close these gates. We got to fix the gates, number one. The gates, when they're closed, we don't see any issues on our cameras out here. We're upgrading the camera system to add some areas on the camera. That's in the next meeting, agenda item. There always been talk about fencing in this entire park. I know, I see that's a controversial. Some say do it, some say don't. But guess what? We're gonna have a price so that we as council can talk about this. And then we can hear your thoughts in that piece as well. And that's an attempt to really try to control access when we do have events in this park. And you have people come across the railroad tracks, come back here out the woods, you know, just trying to control that piece to the sheriff's point. And it's gonna take money. And to be honest, we got the money and we need to spend it on safety. And also to the point the sheriff made about us, we do have to cover extra duty for deputies. So we have to cover that as the town. Now I will say, and I appreciate the sheriff for not charging us the full rate on the last movies in the park. Because I believe what we had 8 or 10, yeah, and he only charged us for 2. So I appreciate that, and that's.
Just remind the council lady sitting here, I need extra money for overtime too, though.
So it's a joint. It's a really truly a joint venture. It's us working with the sheriff's department, us working with Richland County Council, and then to some degree to our state legislators. It's going to take all of us working together. And the 800-pound gorilla in the room being Scout Motors, you know, yes, more people are coming in this community, and we got to be ready for that. And that's what you're going to see is a lot more of our aggressive ordinances to get ready for that impact.
All right, here's one of my wishes that I want to happen tonight. We have a pad over here, and we're going to get another pad over there. Please give us your name and your email or telephone if you don't have part of a crime watch group or neighborhood, so we can help you get organized, okay? Don't leave here tonight without doing that. I'm not going to solicit money from you. It's not going to cost you a penny. But please give us a way to contact you so we can follow up. I'm telling you, crime watch groups, and they work. They work. But you have to be part of it, okay? So one pad's here. We're going to put another pad somewhere else because we've got so many people. Please don't go without signing up for that. I'm telling you, it's very proactive.
I just wanted to ask, you mentioned the added cameras, better cameras. Is the town going to have more cameras throughout the town? Because obviously as we watch the video that night, and see the kids running and all of that, I'm always amazed at the good investigative work of the sheriff's department and how they use those cameras, and they, you know, it helps a lot obviously for them to catch the perpetrators. So it strikes me that more cameras throughout the town would be helpful. You tell me, does it help your job?
Yeah, the cameras help us solve the crimes. It's not preventing them. Fixing this gate is going to prevent something. So y'all need to spend money to get these gates fixed. We've been talking about that for a while. You know, I ain't going to tell y'all council people how to do it, but that would be a priority, is getting the gate fixed. The cameras do help us solve it, just like you saw. But those cameras were businesses that had them. So, you know, if the town had cameras, which are they're expensive, they're not cheap, but it is worth it. But it will not prevent something from happening. It will help us catch them. The gates and some other stuff that's being proactive.
Hi. Is there public record of these judges that are letting these people out? I mean, the guy that had a murder charge with an ankle monitor was out. He got out again. So I know you're doing your job, but they're not. So is there a public record? Because I
It
think
is.
if they got a bunch of heat put on them, maybe that would change. They would be embarrassed.
It is. It did. The press conference I had last week when I held up the guy's juvenile record from the Columbia Mall shooting, the bond court judge called, can I get a copy of it? So, but yeah, there is public record on who sets bonds. Public Index, Richland County Public Index.
Just go to sccourts.org and choose Richland County, and then you can look up the perpetrator, and on that front landing page will be the name of the judge who issued the bond, and you can also see the bond. So everything you need, you might need to wait a day or two to see everything post, but that public database is a wealth of information, I promise you. Courts.org. And I can post it on the What's Happening Blythewood page and a couple of the other local pages as well. Ma'am? Start, yeah.
That will get their attention. Your magistrates who set the bonds are appointed by the senators. So your senator appoints who the magistrates are. And if you don't like what the magistrates are doing, complain to your senator. I did that a couple of years ago when we got rid of some of them that were terrible. You know, they all want to say that Alvin S. Glenn is a terrible place to go. It's real simple how you stay out of there. Don't commit a crime. Don't commit a crime, you won't have to worry about going to Alvin S. Glenn. So I don't buy that sob story about, oh, this poor person, you know, don't need to be in Alvin. Don't commit the crime, you won't go to jail. Easy.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to share, I'm new to Blythewood. I've probably been here about 2 months. And I rode around and I kind of went all around the city of Blythewood and met a good bit of people. But what I wanted to share is that we want to bring our faith-based leaders to the table also. I feel like more faith-based leaders should be in the community. When we started a ministry in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I walked that community for 1 year, and even the drug dealers won't break into our church. They won't let people come over there and mess with the church, because the faith-based groups would go out there and actually talk to the community. And all we would ask people is, what can we offer to help you? Whether it was cutting their grass or fixing something in their yard. And it allowed us to have a relationship with the community. And I've met with the mayor a couple of times and talked about this, building a coalition of pastors that will be dedicated to not only walking the community, but also praying on Mondays with the mayor and sitting down with our sheriff's department. We do this in Fayetteville. We find out what are some areas that are bad and what's going on, and we'll go throw a cookout or something in that area and meet some of those people and find out, well, why is this happening? And parents will tell you, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, because we need solutions, not complaints. We need people to come together. Don't be afraid to address what's going on in the neighborhoods and do something about it. So that's what I'm here for. Our church is the embassy. We're here at the recreational center at 126 Boney Street. We're also doing a Stop the Violence cookout on the 14th of June. We would love for you all to come out. That way we can introduce ourselves to Blythewood, but we also can find out what you all need from us. We're not here to solicit. We're here to help the community. And when he told me, and I've seen all the things that happen in the news, we want to be a solution to the problems that's happening here and not another burden. So I really appreciate being able to be in this arena.
Hi, I've been here a little longer than 2 months. I've been here over 30 years. Matter of fact, I was on the planning committee that helped set up Doco Manor in this park. So I've seen a lot of changes go on in Blythewood. And what I'm concerned about right now is a couple of things. There is an upcoming, I don't know if it's been canceled or not, 4th of July celebration that brings people from all over Richland and Lexington County. That's a lot of people. And I'm also concerned about whether there are any organized youth gangs in the area, operating in the area.
The gangs, no. You got gangs, but they're not organized or where they can control a neighborhood or anything like that. You know, the shootings that we've had that you see me on TV about, none of those are gang related. I don't like him, so I'm gonna shoot him. I mean, that's what it's about. It's not because I'm in a different gang than him. It's I see him, I don't like him. He said something on social media I didn't like. So these shootings are not, the shooting that happened up here wasn't gang related. It's somebody pulled a gun, made a shot, and everybody pulled their guns, and they just started shooting.
And to answer your question on the 4th of July, the 4th of July event has been canceled. That was canceled in a vote of council to cancel those large events until we can figure out security efforts moving forward. So there'll be no 4th of July and Juneteenth in the park and movies in the park this year.
All right, your senator just arrived, Tamika Isaac Devine. She just got here. They were talking about magistrates earlier and asking if they're not satisfied with magistrates, what they need to do. I said, call you. She is very receptive to hear about her magistrates that she appoints and reappoints. So I can attest to that. She will listen to you if you got issues with a magistrate.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and I'm really just coming to listen. I will say, though, about magistrates, all of our magistrates are appointed for a term. The term is up in 2027, and so magistrates currently serving will serve until 2027. Each senator has appointees, and then at 2027, we will review them, and then some can be reappointed, some can be replaced. If you do have a concern with a magistrate about ethics or something like that, you certainly can make a complaint to the Supreme Court. They handle that, but if it's that they made a bond that you didn't like, they're letting people out, then we do need to know that. But I will say that the magistrates are somewhat limited as to what we do at the State House and what we do as far as setting bond. Bond reform is currently underway, and so certainly communicate with us, your House members, and others about your concerns, specific examples about bond, because the magistrates actually look at the statute as to whether or not someone's a flight risk to danger to the community or flight risk, and then there's also some challenges as far as the information that they have available at bond settings. So all that we'll be putting into bond review.
Hi, good evening. My name is Diva Taylor. I live in Long Cove and Long Creek. My question is to the mayor. Are you in contact with the schools so you can kind of see what's happening there? Because a lot of times my son attends high school and it's from Instagram or whatever's going on, and that's how things are getting around. So maybe if there's some kind of way to get in contact with them and maybe have some time of consequences for this.
So I think that's a twofold approach with the schools. So I do know this summer we will have more conversation this summer with the schools, so that we're all more in tune. So being a little bit more proactive with the schools, including them in our process and our conversation, and that's where we are now. We're trying to jump ahead with the curfew. The curfew will be talked about with the schools, the board members, superintendent. We're going to have that level of conversation because they need to understand that as well. They need to not only understand it, they need to also push that information to parents They have the parent square system. I know all y'all know about that better than me. I just started in it. But to push that information out to the parents so that we're all on the same page. So the school do play one of the top heavy roles next to the sheriff's department. And also another thing that we talked about was the SROs, making sure that when we have events that maybe having some of those SROs in the park, because they know those kids. And that could help alleviate things as well.
You have two of the best SROs I've got at Blythewood High School. Terry Dozier, who's 6'10", can't miss him, and then Tara Dukes. They're great. The kids love them, have good communications with them, and then your SROs at the middle schools and elementary schools are good too. So we are getting information that they get. The kids do tell them a lot more. That is how we made some of these arrests that we made, was the SROs were up here. But I want to circle around back again. The pastor was talking about most of your problems are not Blythewood kids. They're kids from somewhere else.
My name is Gordon Shepherd, and I live in Abney Hills Estates. Is there any plan to go after the individuals who plan the events, these pop-up parties? One of the problems that we had in Abney Hills was somebody planned a pop-up party at our pool. Nearly 200 kids or whatever showed up, and the guy he posted it on social media, had a flyer. Even I think he was even charging admission. I think he charged about $5 a head, but it was organized, and apparently somebody put this all together, and he did it not once, but he did it twice. So, and I think, and if I'm not correct, this last event here was started with a pop-up party. So just wanted to know about the people who organized this stuff.
The Blythewood shooting, there was an organized party at somebody's house that the parents condoned, but it went from there to then it popped up and went out on social media, and those kids ended up here, but also everybody else ended up here. So the answer is yes. If we can get somebody that's responsible for them and if something we can charge them with, then we're going to charge. We do that too.
Yes, my name is Jeffrey Battle, and I stay in Brookhaven area. I have a two-part question. One of them was I was headed to church Sunday morning, and as I was going down the road, there were two German Shepherds running loose. So I called 911, and they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do." I said, "Oh, we have to wait until the dogs actually attack somebody, and then we can do something." So I was wondering, what is the purpose of 911? I deem that as an emergency. If I'm out running or walking with my child, something like that, you got two big German Shepherds like the ones you have in your car. I mean, that's one of my questions.
Let me answer that before you go to the next one. Councilwoman Barron, second that. Animal control don't work on weekends, and they don't work at night.
Yeah, that's what she told me, and I told her, I understand that, so, when she's out walking with her kids and German Shepherds running around, just remember, they don't work on weekends. But the next thing, we were supposed to be here to alleviate the problems in the neighborhoods and areas and the communities that's around. And I don't see how we are coming together to do that when we're counseling the Juneteenth and the 4th of July party, because we can't manage that activity. And it just doesn't make sense to me. We're supposed to be proactive, but with counseling these events, I guess the criminals win.
So just a little bit about that. the cancellation of those events was a majority vote, just aimed at your safety, just so that we all can examine where we are as a town. Having not to have to deal with this large amount. I think last year we pinged over 13,000 people in the park for 4th of July last year. That's a lot of people in Doco. And if we look at the trend, we went from an average, I believe, was about between 6,000 and 7,000 to 13. So imagine what this year would bring into the park. So I will tell you that is part of the May 27th agenda, is to talk about the cost moving forward for security. That's going to be a real cost for us. It's going to be real coordination between not only the Sheriff's Department, but other entities to come in and assist as well.
But you said we had plenty of money.
Sir, democracy. Everything comes down to a vote.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate all the deputies and the sheriff for showing up. One of the questions I really have is, everybody knows that Blythewood's growing, right? It's 6,000, 7,000, looking at 50,000 in the not too near future. I know y'all are already stretched for manpower and time and hours. What is the plan going forward for our coverage? I live out in Grand Arbor, and we've had some issues out in Grand Arbor. And if those people don't know where Grand Arbor is, we're at the end of Langford Road. And you know, what can we expect? I mean, if we call 911, I've driven through this part of town at night, and the sheriff cars are out and stretched thin. I mean, we can't expect to call 911 and have somebody in Grand Arbor in 5 minutes. So what's the plan going forward for our safety? And not just for you, for the mayor, is there a plan to start a local police department to assist or, you know, help with that? Because it's getting very thin, because there was 200 people out there at the Waffle House, and you show up with 2 or 3 cars. I mean, they're going to run, but not, you know, there's 200 people. You can't catch 200 people with 3 people. Thank you.
There's no plan. There's no plan that's been established to address the influx of people that's coming to Blythewood. None whatsoever. Not by us, by those who control the money and the budget. There's no plan. So we're going to continue to do what we do. You got some of the deputies here. We're going to have them up here and working as hard as we can. We're fully staffed, which I get penalized for being fully staffed, which is not by this one, not by her. Let me qualify that. But I do get penalized because I'm fully staffed. We don't have any openings. We filled every position, 900 positions. We got them full. So we have the people. So we're going to do the best we can with what we got. But there is no long-term plan to address the growth that's fixing to happen here. Now, as far as creating your own police force, you talking about a lot of money. A lot of money. And it's more than just going out and hiring these 4 guys and your captain over there who wants to be the police chief. No, I'm joking. No, it's more.
He called me last week about
it. It is a lot more than that. There's so much stuff that you have to do. That's why I like Arcadia Lakes and Eastover. Eastover did away with their police for the same reason. So, you know, your best thing to do is to encourage your county council people to look to the future, not just today, on what's going to happen up here.
So I'm going to piggyback off of that. I do think that it is important for us as a town to look ahead. As soon as we can get over some of the hurdles right now in this interim stage, to look at putting a plan together. We don't have the plans to say how much it would cost for us to have a police department up here. We don't know what that looks like. Sheriff Lott can tell you one of my first conversations with him after the election was, we need our own police department. That's a lot of money. I went to visit and talk with Irmo, just because their size probably would mirror what we would probably set up as an agency. And that budget was really what our operating budget is for the town, just for the police department. We are a zero millage community. We don't have a tax. We get our money from hospitality, accommodations, few other business license, those things. But you don't pay a property tax. And in order to really have a police department in place, we would have to impose a millage on you. And in these times right here, I don't know if that's the smart thing to really do right now. And that's a conversation for not just me as mayor, that's a conversation for council. We just have to put the studies together to show that, hey, it's gonna cost X amount, it's gonna cost this to operate annually, and then set forth a plan and come back to you all. Because ultimately, you would have to vote to pay that tax. Regardless, it would come back to you in a referendum to say, do you want to support a referendum for a police department?
My name is Melanie. I live in a suburb community just outside Blythewood. I didn't stand up for this, but I want to say one thing to you. What about contacting Scout Motors? Sheriff Lott has said they're going to bring in more crime because of the growth. Why not contact them and ask them to help subsidize a police department? No comment necessary. Sheriff Lott and all of you, thank you for being here. We have a community pool in our neighborhood. We too have had pop-up pool parties where people outside the neighborhood climb the fence, come in with beer bottles, glass is not allowed in there. They come in doing drugs. A neighbor close to the pool has called the sheriff department in the past and been told, we can't do anything because that's private property. And is that an ongoing policy, or was something just unusual in that? Thank you.
You put a sign up giving us jurisdiction, then we can do it. That's all we need is it's a simple sign saying this property is under jurisdiction of Richland County Sheriff's Department, enforce all the laws. And then if they're trespassing and they're not invited by somebody who lives there, then we can have them removed for trespassing. However, if John Doe is invited all 200 over there and gave them permission to come over there, then they're not trespassing at that point, they've been invited. So that's the slippery slope that we've got. So part right, part wrong on what they were saying. We can do something. Some gentleman walked in with me who talked about we cleaned up his pool right there. He's got the mic. You tell him what we did.
Yeah, so my name's Carl Libby. I'm the president of the Ring Creek HOA. We got a couple of our residents here, Ms. LaVaughn and Ms. George, and hello everyone. But about 5 or 6 years ago, we had issues where we had pop-up parties. Kids would jump the pool, jump the fence of the pool, trespassing and whatnot. And so we met with our CAT team deputy at the time, Deputy Hovis. We met with Mr. Jackson over at Westwood High School. And they gave us a list of things that we needed to do. One, he said we needed to put up the security cameras. But we put up security cameras, and that's just reactive, because that didn't stop anything. We were just able to see it the next day what happened. And so they came out, and like he said, the jurisdiction signs. So we have jurisdiction signs saying this is under the official sign. He gave us the official sign, and we ordered them for fast signs, so 2-notch. He said place these every so many feet. He said property under jurisdiction of the Richland County Sheriff's Department. We had the towing signs for Showers Towing. They told us to close our gate. So George is on the committee, all of the residents, we get together and we all have a day, and we close the parking lot gate. So we closed the parking lot gates, we turned the lights on, we got security cameras, and we also hired a pool monitor. We paid $30,000 a year for somebody to check IDs and chest wristbands. But knock on wood, we have not had an issue in 3 years. So, and they will come out. And so I couldn't even tell you who our CAT team deputy is now because I don't have to call her, but I had Roger Hovis on speed dial. So form the HOAs, form your neighborhood watch committee. They'll come out to the neighborhood. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do. If you do what they say you need to do, you won't have any problems.
I couldn't have paid him for a better advertisement than that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bobby Young. I'm a community advocate, and thank you so much for being here. You know, we really don't realize how much power we have in just, if you see it, say it. I mean, just like that. And so I guess back in the day, people would say, oh, you're nosy, or you're sticking your nose. No, no, no. We should be watching out for each other. Now, when this man over here was talking about 2 German Shepherds running, it pinged my German Shepherd ears up because I'm a dog trainer. So I happen to know, for example, that one of the really big problems is counties don't want to spend a lot of money on incidentals like having 24-hour animal control officers. That's just one thing. Or maybe counties might not want to spend enough to have enough sheriffs so that we don't have to worry about having our own police departments. But the cool thing about this tonight is that here in Lott, the greatest sheriff ever, hear him discuss things and hearing everybody else talk about how they feel, all of a sudden my eyes are not just open to the dog thing, it's open to a lot of things. So if you see it, say it. That's it. Call him up. Call him. He'll be there. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. My name's Trish Hovis. I live in Blythewood. I work at the South Carolina Technical College System in Rock Hill. Before that, I was a parole officer. So when I was a parole officer, I thought, I'm going to change the world. I had all adult parolees who were 21 and over, and I don't give up on people, but the people that you've arrested and the people that are doing a lot of things, I don't hold out a lot of hope. Again, I don't give up, and for the parents, the horse has probably left the barn, so I just want to be sure people include the technical college system in the conversation. You can come to a South Carolina Technical College if you don't have a lot of money. South Carolina Wins, South Carolina Lottery, Federal Pell Grant, most of our students are in that position. They don't have any money. A lot of them come to our school, they're the first ones to graduate in their family. And I teach criminal justice, and I want them to come to me, but that's okay, because they can go to welding, mechatronics, automotive, we have drone classes, we have building construction trades. You can make a lot of money fixing air conditioners. And these are young people that come, when they can come, you don't have to have a high school diploma, we'll help you with that too. And if you need remedial writing or you need remedial math, we'll help you with that too. And we can get you a job, because I suspect that the people that we're arresting today that are adults are people that once had a dream, wanted to have a job, have their own family, and you know, make a life that they can be proud of. So the technical college system, I don't work at Midlands Tech, I work at York Tech, but they are here to serve young people and older people if you want to do a career change.
All right.
Sheriff, can I get...
I'm fixing to close it up, my part. We've got sign-up books over here. We've got a sign-up here. Please sign up. You know, I was very blunt with y'all on some issues that we've got. I will tell you that Ms. Gretchen Barron right here and the senator right here, Tamika Isaac Devine, are 2 of the good ones. They support us totally. So when you hear stuff that's not going on good with county council or state, it's not these 2 right here. They're 2 of the best. They're very supportive of the sheriff's department and this community. They're very receptive to what's going on here. So don't beat these 2 up. Pat these 2 on the back. Thank y'all. Again, we got sign-ups over here. The deputies are going to be here for a while. If you got individual questions, I know the lady asked about her neighborhood. We have the answer for you over there. Thank you. Thank y'all.